hours. Yeah, 6 hours.
Okay, you got purple there?
No, I'm wearing red. You guys wear the same shirt like every week.
I know. I planned that. Okay. No, I wore blue last week. Black shirt.
Okay, you wear either wear blue or purple.
Purple my favorite color.
See?
Not gonna not wear my favorite color.
I know there's been easier to try to find out there than
I've grown 3 dresses. One can't go with my ties. So I just wear it.
I wore blue in there.
Okay, I'll wear blue. Actually, I don't even have no idea.
What do you wear blue on? I got
It's like me.
I like your black shirt.
he's like, you don't have to
It's
sit
a product that
It's
Why I have all my
You know, I had to get a suit for the play, so.
That's who I am.
For
Why
my
don't you just wear the
the email said suit.
Do you have a jacket?
Yeah, I have a jacket, but I had a realtor stress.
You know.
Really trying to even this role like the realtor. Hey, Mark, what are you again?
Nurse.
That's for you. I have the desk role. I have 2 lines at the beginning. That's it.
Yeah.
I literally
I have no lines.
I just go in and say my 2 lines and I leave. Oh, really? That sounds really weird.
Oh, the show.
I'm not a fan of play at all. At lunch? Yeah, because I don't want to say trash.
Alrighty.
Where's Craig?
I call this meeting to order at 8:02 p.m. on Monday, October 17th, 2016. I get roll call, please.
Sure. President Zaki.
Here.
Vice President Macy.
Present.
Treasurer Gabe.
Here.
Treasurer Hatfield. Here. Senator Brown.
Present.
Senator Young.
Present.
Senator Funk.
Present.
Senator Hanson. Present. Senator Prowell. Senator Winter. Here. Senator Dubinsky. Present. Senator Donarski.
Here.
Senator Conrad.
Present.
Senator Kumar. Senator Arredondo.
Present.
Senator Garner.
Present.
Senator Mecca. Senator Vincent. Senator Clark.
Present.
Senator Vandevick. Roll call.
Thank you, Secretary Topol. Opening devotion, Senator Funk.
Okay. So I'm new at this, so I'll keep this short. So I'm sure a lot of you have exams this week that you're studying for. I know I do. So just a quick quote about working hard and stuff like that from Booker T. Washington. He said, "Nothing ever comes to one that is worth having except as a result of hard work." So just when you're studying and you got a ton of exams, tons of papers, just a reminder, keep working hard because it'll pay off someday. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Funk. Do we have any volunteers for next week's opening devotion? Senator Donarski, thank you for volunteering. Speaking of Senator Donarski, happy birthday to Senator Donarski. Is this 21?
20, actually.
20, okay, exciting. Then, form of concerns. Does anyone in the audience wish to say anything before we start the meeting? No? Okay. Moving on then to item 5, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say yay.
Yay.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Agenda is approved. Senators' reports. What has happened this past week?
If no one has anything, I do have a report from Senator Becky.
Thank you, sir.
He said he sent his liaison emails out on Friday.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak on behalf of communication with liaisons, successful things, unsuccessful things? Senator Senator Young?
My liaison, the lighter, they had their first coffee house event Friday. Can't quite remember. It had a pretty good turnout. Mira was there, so was I, and so was Monica. Sorry.
Great, thank you, Senator Young. Anybody else have any reports? Okay, if not, we'll move on to advisors' reports.
Not a report per se, but just on behalf of Dr. Hunter and myself, hope you have a nice fall break, whether you're staying here or traveling, that you're safe and get some relaxation over the long weekend. There you go.
Thank you, Dean Jenkins. Okay then, we'll move on to officer reports. President Zaki.
Just have a few things. So yeah, we had a good weekend. A lot of our groups have done things. So like Mark said, there was the coffee house, which was really good. On Friday, there was the Hispanic Heritage Month dinner, which was also very well done, and our Dean Jenkins was there as well. On Saturday, we had Relay for Life, which was a full day's event, and many groups came out, and I think it was very successful. They raised over $21,000, so that's a huge success. And then, of course, on Sunday, they concluded the University Theater production of Mr. Burns with our very own Senator Dubinsky, who has a very good voice, so maybe one day we'll hear it again. Okay, so two other things. There is, which one should I say first? So there's a group on campus. If you were with us last year, there's a group called Civic, which is actually a presidential commission for inclusion on the university, and they have reached out to us to invite us to attend a city council meeting next week. So they have subcommittees. One of them is called Community Engagement, and a previous senator, Joanne Atala, who was with us last year, is on that subcommittee and would like any senators interested to attend the meeting. It's open to the public, and I'm going to ask her more specifics on where it is. It's probably somewhere in downtown, but that will be next Tuesday, October 25th, from 5:30 to 7. So if you're interested, you can let me know, and I can put you in contact with her. I think they're hiring someone for the city, and they want students to be in the know. So, last thing, speaking of inclusion, we have a big celebration at the university every year for MLK Day, which is in January, and there is a call for groups to do focus sessions. So if you're interested, why did you point? Okay. Okay, if you're interested in maybe Senate doing a group or a group that you know of, that is due Friday. So I know we're going to be distracted with fall break coming up, but don't miss that deadline because it's going to be a very good event. It is every year, but especially this year, I think they're really putting a lot of fresh energy and effort into it. So yeah, look out for that. Thank you.
Thank you, President Zaki. Moving on to my report, I have a couple of things I'd like to touch on. First of all, as I mentioned in the past meeting, our deadline for committee chairs to say when all their specific forms are going to be due, those need to be reported out today. So when you step down, please say what deadlines you want to set for the rest of the semester, so we can record those and get those out on our academic calendar. I touched on this at the organizational meeting, but I want to go over a couple quick etiquette things when it comes to discussion. Of course, the number one thing is please raise your hand if you're going to be called on. Do not just call out if you want to participate in discussion. That creates a kind of chaotic environment. We don't want to engage in that. So please raise your hand to be called on either by myself or whoever is chairing the floor, whether that be a committee chairman or someone presenting an SR. So keep that in mind. Also, always address the front of the room, particularly the speaker. Don't turn around to address other senators. That creates it makes it more difficult for other senators to hear you, especially if they're closer to the front. It's just proper etiquette to address whoever is chairing the floor. So please keep that in mind as well. Also, try to keep conversation civil. In the past couple weeks, conversation has drifted into a, for lack of a better word, sassy direction. Let's be respectful. We are all equals here. We want to engage in productive conversation. we don't want to put each other down because that's not how we get ideas flowing around to the best capacity. So please be respectful. Try to limit the rhetoric a little bit. I know it's all too common in today, especially with elections, as you've been seeing, I'm sure. So please try to limit that kind of negative conversation. Also, it's important to keep in mind that when we are discussing a motion or an amendment, to keep whatever is on the floor the primary idea that's being discussed. If an SR is presented, for example, as happened last week, an amendment is made, it's important to discuss the amendment that's on the floor and not the SR that is being presented. So whatever's on the floor for discussion is what needs to be the main topic of conversation. So that's just kind of some basic etiquette things. Senator reports, I'm almost done with the Google form that will be sent out to you guys for kind of midterm reports. So we look at, that might be done by, I might get that finished fall break probably. So be on the lookout for that, just kind of some basic questions that I discussed last meeting or the meeting before about some of your expectations, some of the realizations that you've had so far this semester in Senate. Also, please be sure to put in your 2 hours of office time in the Senate office. I know sometimes it's difficult to keep the scheduled time that you have. I know I've run into difficulties of professors scheduling meetings and stuff like that conflict with my Senate office hours, but if that is the case, still at least try to make time to find 2 hours in the week to be in the Senate office to answer questions. And that being said, that's the rest of my report. Parliamentarian is still vacant. Secretary, Secretary Noble.
Just make sure you leave your name cards either up on your table or down here at the end of the meeting.
Thank you. Public Relations Coordinator Kelm is not here today.
No report.
Okay, no report. Executive Assistant Treasurer Gabe and Hatfield.
Okay guys, I have a lot of more boring information for you all to hear. Sweet. The first big things for everybody to know, if you're interested in being there or just being there to help talk to people, if for some reason there's several orgs there at once, I'm going to host finance tables October 26th from 3 to 5:30, November 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m., and November 9th from 3 to 7. That is a 4-hour window. I'm going to do that because budgets are due the 11th and I figure people will be scrambling. So if anybody wants to come hang out, that'd be great. I'm going to try and answer as many questions for people as possible before budgets are due. I know several people have contacted me having no clue how to form a budget or what to request money for. All kinds of things. If you get any emails regarding that and you aren't quite sure how to answer it, please CC me or the Finance Committee in it, just so we can make sure we address people's questions as quickly as possible so we can make sure all budgets are on time this semester. Another reminder, stipends were due today. There are 2 orgs that I'm aware of that should not be submitting stipends due to things we are working on for line item shift requests. Other than that, if you have a liaison that has stipends, they should be turning it in. If you don't know, they most likely don't have stipends. Stipends are only for Tier 1 organizations. There was some confusion when that email was sent out apparently, so I sent another one that hopefully almost all of you got. If you haven't accepted the invitation to the email list I sent you, I resent it again today, and hopefully you will have clicked accept on that. Otherwise, I did BCC you in the email just so you guys can get that information. So hopefully stipends will be in before Wednesday. All requests are due December 5th. Please keep that in mind as you're helping your orgs. I know things are coming up. If they're hosting events after that, especially that you guys are aware of, you need to be reminding them to be in contact with me. I am going to have a much more difficult time reimbursing them for events held after that date if they weren't in communication with me before the deadline. So I still need contact information, especially for Tier 3 organizations. So if you have liaisons that are Tier 3 that maybe have replied to the organization email or have replied to a personal email, just say, hey, I want to double check, did you fill out your contact information? I am still updating it in some of the budgets. It's a very time-consuming thing, changing all of that and changing the share permissions. So if your liaison is like, I haven't seen my budget yet, That's a problem. It's almost the end of October. So please make sure they contact me. I will make sure they get it shared. If they just can't find it in their Google Drive, I will resend the shared link to them so they get the notification in their inbox, you know. So that's really important. They need to be aware of their budgets, especially Tier 3 organizations at this point. So again, the email you'll get for the email list, if you haven't accepted it yet, will come from like student-L something. It won't say my name or student treasurer or anything like that. It's weird. Just click accept, please. I will not BCC anyone in any more emails from here on out because you all are aware that you need to accept it. If orgs cannot contact their organization email address, 1, they need to go to IT and resolve that ASAP. 2, they need to contact me with a personal email. I know there's a few that I am aware of just because they're like, hey, I heard about this, but I didn't get an email about it. If you get an email saying that, please forward it to me. I will include them on the email list. I will also forward them the previous emails that have gone out so they are aware of the year-long deadlines that were included and the email I'm going to send out regarding the finance tables. Those aren't just for budgeting. Those are for orgs that have questions about anything regarding their budget. So I would encourage people to go to those. If you guys have a free few minutes or so, stop by. If you have any questions, let me know, but I would appreciate to see some of you guys there. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Gabe. Committee reports, as a reminder, please, if you have any forms due by specific dates, announce those now, even if you've already said that before. I'm just looking for our records. So, Executive Committee.
Mm-hmm. So, yes. So we have the discount card committee to form, and 3 individuals have come to me expressing interest. One of them is not here, but we can still vote on them being a part of the committee. Are we voting on a chair? Are we voting on a chair?
Yeah, we vote on the chair.
The chair, okay. So we have Katerina Vincent and Mark Young, who are present, that have expressed interest, in addition to Andrea Sanchez, who's not here tonight. So did either of you, I don't think I asked if you wanted to be chair. Okay. Yes, okay, we got ahead. So if you did not come to me, you can still nominate yourself tonight. So this is now the time for you to do so.
So now we want to make nominations for the chair of the discount card committee. So please make those if you feel them to be necessary. Nominations? Those of you interested?
All right, that's fine. We have one person. So we do have Mark Young, who has shown his interest. So we will put that to
We need an official nomination.
I nominate Mark Young.
All right.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations?
I'm saying just something else. If someone else wants to be it, then you know you can nominate yourself.
Yeah, you are allowed to nominate yourself.
All right.
If there are no other nominations, move to a vote. All those in favor of Senator Young being the chair of the discount card committee, please raise your hand. Okay, opposed and abstentions. All right, by a vote of 15-0-0, Senator Young will be the chair of the discount card committee this year.
All right, congratulations. The last thing is that this is officially our 5th meeting, aside from the retreat that we held, and we discussed that we would like to do something social. So you've had your time to settle in your positions, and we're still getting into business, but look out for some emails soliciting your ideas about a social that we can do. We'd like to do one, at least one a month, and of course they'll be optional, but we'd like to get to know each other in that way. So thank you.
Thank you, President Zaki. Administration Committee.
So, for us, keep emailing your liaisons. Make sure that you're sending proof of your first contact with your liaisons to the admin committee. But again, that's just first contact. So like, if, right after your first email, just send it to us so we know that you're trying anyway. Be attending either their regular meetings, or someone asked me tonight if like their meeting time is during Senate, then set up like a lunch or something with the president or somebody from their e-board who can give you the information that you can then bring here and give your little presentation about. If you have any SRs that you want to present, according to the Constitution, the admin committee also handles that, so you can feel free to come to us for advice on like structuring for SRs. We're talking about maybe creating like a side committee that just deals with reviewing the Constitution and making new SRs. And then also, for those of you who don't know, Vashil, who was a basketball player here last year, just signed with the Miami Heat. So he's going to be playing this season, which would be cool. He had like 4 minutes in a preseason game.
Do you have dates for form submissions?
So for this semester, we really keep as far as like new organizations applying, we keep that open just because it makes it easier for re-recognition to already have their information on file. So there is no deadline for new organizations. It is just, it goes up until re-recognition. That just keeps it open for us. Of course, there'll be a deadline for re-rec, but we don't have that deadline.
You don't have that set yet? Please figure that out as soon as possible. Any questions for Senator Dubinsky?
How do we contact, or there are no emails or contact?
The contact information was sent by Treasurer Gabe in an email, and do you want to resend that?
I will resend it.
And so she'll resend it.
There are,
Yep.
there are some orgs that are still missing on the sheets that I have. I have it broken down by tier. So you have to look in each form. That's going to be the easiest way instead of the master list. But there are still some missing. So if one of those is your liaison, find somebody you might know in the org and get their contact information.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm still confused about exactly what each senator is supposed to do with their organization. Like, I've met with a couple of them, but are we basically, is each senator just a voice for them in Senate? It's like, voice any concerns or anything?
Yeah. So your job is to meet with them, and that's really great that you've already met with them, and then to also, during the senator reports at the beginning of the meeting, let us know what's going on. So let us know what events they have coming up. As far as the admin committee is concerned, we want to know like how many members they have at their meetings, like how much the attendance was at their events. You're just keeping track of everything that's going on.
And just an occasional.
Yeah, no, just every now and then. You can only, if you want to just go to one and get all that information, fine. But you should be in constant email contact with them. Like one-on-one contact can be limited to, like it can be as little as one, but it can be more. And it probably should be more.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Senator Dubinsky. Finance Committee.
All right, we have a couple things to get through today. By a couple, I mean I think 5 or 6. So November 11th, if you have Tier 3 organizations, please remind them. If they haven't responded to you at all, maybe send an email directly to the president if you can find that information and it's up to date. That's the only reminder we have. So I have a quick motion to open the floor to Treasurer Gabe, just in case she might be able to shine any more light on some of these that I'm not. Second?
It's open.
All right, good. Okay, so the first shift we're going to do tonight is the lighter. They want to move $700 from ongoing functions to sponsored events such as coffee houses and selection committee meetings. There's a very detailed description. I'll give a brief overview. So last year when we did budgeting, there was not an adequate description of what these were and why the money needed to be in such vast amounts it was. They've now explained it to us, and essentially what it is they do a couple publications every year, and to kick off those publications, they want to have a coffee house where they have the lighter there, and then they also provide coffee and some food for whoever decides to come to their sort of kickoff for their publication. So that's $700 from ongoing functions into sponsored events such as coffee houses and selection committee meetings. And we voted 3-0-0 on that.
Is there any discussion on this line item shift? Seeing none. All those in favor of the line item shift of $700 from ongoing functions to sponsored events, For the lighter, please raise your hand. Opposed? And abstentions? Line item shift passes 15-0-0.
The next line item shift is from Latinos in Valparaiso for Excellent, also known as LIVE. They are moving $1,190 from National Conference on Race and Ethnicity and an additional $50 from other events to Hispanic Heritage Month dinner in the amount of a total of $1,240. So the funds needed to cover the Hispanic Heritage Month dinner. We need to shift these funds because the funds that we've allocated right now will not cover that cost. This is their largest event of the year. I'm sure some senators have actually gone in the past. It's a huge dinner they put on. It fills up the entire ballroom. People come from all different organizations. It's a pretty good event. We had no issue with this. It's their money and they know what to do with it and how they can best serve the community, so we voted 3-0-0 on that one as well.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the line item shift from Latinos in Valparaiso for Excellence? Seeing none, all those in favor of the line item shift of $1,240 from National Conference for Race and Ethnicity and other HHM events to the Hispanic Heritage Month dinner, please raise your hand. Great. Opposed? And abstentions? The line item shift passes 15-0-0.
Okay, so this next line item shift is from the Torch. They want to move $2,200 from 4 different of their own stipended positions into money that will allow them to attend a national media convention. So they're not moving out of organizational fees, they're moving out of their own money that we allocated to them last year in their own stipends. And this will just allow more people that have never been to go to the conference. And this is the National College Media Convention in Washington, D.C. It will take place over fall break, I believe it says. We voted 3-0-0 on this one.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this line item shift? Seeing none, all those in favor of the line item shift of $2,200 from the aforementioned lines for the Torch into ACP National College Media Convention, please raise your hand. Opposed? And abstentions? Motion passes 15-0-0.
All right, this line item shift is from VUTV. They want to move $800 from LiveView. LiveView was something I believe they rented last year and they sort of bought the full option this year, but they were able to get a substantial discount, which saved around $3,000. And so they want to move 800 of that into equipment and equipment maintenance. And that's pretty much that. And so that's 3-0-0.
3-0-0. Okay. Is there any discussion on this line item shift request from VUTV? Seeing none. All those in favor of the request of moving $800 from LiveView into equipment and equipment maintenance, please raise your hand. Thank you. Opposed? And abstentions? The motion passes 15-0-0.
All right, this last one is additionally from VUTV. They are shifting out of the same line, LiveView, like I just mentioned. They saved a substantial amount of money, so they're looking to do other things with this money. This one is in the amount of $1,800, and they want to move it into 6 different new lines. 4 of these lines already exist, and that is sports director for $100, programming director for $100, assistant news director for $200, and assistant weather director for $200. And so those amounts right there will boost the stipends to the amounts they asked for in the spring, but we were unable to fully fund due to choosing to fund other things such as LiveView for them. And then 2 new additional lines, which were approved by the Committee on Media already, which are the advertising director and the digital director in $600 each. We talked a lot about this one. We felt that it's their money. They saved it. They can do what they want. They should know how to best run their organization. We voted 3-0-0, but we're definitely open to the thoughts of other members and what they might have to say about this.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this line item shift request from VUTV? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of the shift of $1,800 from LiveView into the aforementioned stipend lines, please raise your hand. Thank you. Opposed and abstentions. The request passes 15-0-0.
That's all.
Thank you, Senator Conrad. Committee on Media.
So the Committee on Media met this last week, and we did interviews for the new WVUR general manager position, and after the 2 applicants applied, there was definitely no doubt either one of them would have been great choices. We chose Michaela Doyle. We are recommending to Senate that we have Michaela Doyle. She showed quite a bit of passion, understanding of what needed to be done, and then also she has plenty of time to learn and grow in the position, which we all found important. Other than that.
Okay. So to clarify, the Committee on Media voted on who they would like to select for this position, then we have to ratify on that decision. So is there any discussion on this nomination or appointment of Michaela Doyle? Senator
Who
Fung?
was the other applicant?
Forget her last name, Nicole Smith. Nicole Smith.
What was probably the biggest thing that went into making the decision that basically set her apart from the other applicants?
I would say that the biggest thing, one of the biggest things, was the amount of time that she has to learn and grow in the position. The position has been considered one that is quite difficult to undertake and has kind of a long learning curve. So if it's also been suggested that the position is a 2-year position. Right now it's a 1-year position, and that 2-year position would be to allow the first year to be a learning year, and then the second year you actually know what you're doing. So she has plenty of time to learn and grow in the position versus Nicole Smith, who only would have had a little over a semester, if I'm not mistaken. That wasn't the only reason. She also showed quite a bit of apt understanding of what needed to be done. I thought she showed a great amount of passion for the job and being on radio. So, any other questions?
Okay. If there's no other discussion, we'll move this to a vote. All in favor of approving Michaela Doyle for the, what was the specific name of the position?
General manager.
General manager. Please raise your hand. Thank you. Opposed? And abstentions? The nomination passes 15-0-0.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Senator Young. Moving on then to Screening Committee.
So I'm addressed formally. Have a couple of things. So the application deadline for all the positions was today by 5 p.m. So we closed it after deadline passed. We had 22 applicants for the 6 positions, which I thought was really nice. We're going to be sending out the doodle poll either tonight or tomorrow morning to try to schedule interview times with all the applicants so we can get, we want to get the interviews done by the 30th, the 31st, and we're anticipating we're going to have names to present on the 31st. So by the beginning of November, we can have new senators join, and they can become liaisons, and they can help with the budgeting process and things like that. And could I meet with the members of the screening committee really briefly after the general meeting? And I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mika. I think so. We'll move on to committee and residents.
So we had our first meeting last Tuesday. Ryan Blevin spoke. He's our community advisor. He just told everyone the importance and what our position is exactly to all the House or the hall representatives that showed up. Some things that are going on within the halls. We're all getting ready to do Halloween events, whether it's the trick-or-treat event for the faculty children, I believe, and door decorating contests. Another cool thing that's going on is something called Stranger Shield, which is put on by the RAs and IFC and Panalytic, which they're going to turn the first floor of Shield Hall into a haunted house, which actually sounds pretty cool because that could be a little creepy. And Ryan Blevins also just went over Thanksgiving break and the process to do break housing. So if any of you guys need break housing for Thanksgiving, get on that pretty soon. And that's it.
Thank you, Senator Clark. Old business. We have no old business from last meeting. So that being said, we'll move on to new business. Any discussion for new business? Seeing none. Form of concerns. Any audience members like to say anything at this point? Okay, thank you. Postmortem. I hope you all enjoy your fall break. Root for the Cubs. After that devastating loss. Maybe the Indians, but preferably the Cubs. Also, there have been talk of a potential casual meeting, so that might be coming in the next few weeks. So we'll be looking forward to that. Senator Mika?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I have an item of new business. So we're supposed to have 5 people on the screening committee, but I haven't seen one of our members in recent weeks. So I was wondering if we could maybe have someone just serve in the interim and possibly join as a full-on member so that we could have a fully functioning committee just when we start our screening process. We're missing one member essentially who I haven't seen in a while. And I just want to make sure that we're not short-staffed for this time process.
Yeah, then I guess at this point we'll take nominations for an interim member of the screening committee.
So I would like to nominate Noah Conrad. He served on the screening committee before and did a really good job.
All right. Are there any other nominations? Okay then. We will vote then. All those in favor of the nomination of Senator Conrad to the screening committee on an interim basis, please raise your hand. Thank you. Opposed? And abstentions. The nomination passes 14-01. Thank you, Senator Mika. Now,
Sorry.
President Zaki.
I'd have 2 things. One, if the executive committee members can stay afterwards, we're going to discuss possibly not having a meeting this week because of fall break. And 2, since Senator Clark walked down, I remembered that the football team had a very big win this weekend, so congratulations.
Great. Are there any other last-minute announcements before we leave? Then, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor, please say yay.
Yay.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Meeting is adjourned. Have a great break.
Oh, very nice job. I was going to give our report to you. Okay, I see you. Thanks, EJ.
We're going about the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
2-1 South Dakota.
I think we learned out if the Indians were serious. It probably will, man. Were you down there for
No, we like
oh my god. People were just like high-fiving each other in the streets, like.
oh, we have the introduce turn in that, then we have interviews.
Sounds good. I got in contact with Roger, so I'm gonna try to get share. I think so.
Yep, no problem.
So how, so we covered the Well, two people, so that's good.